Please move away from the boat line.
No parking on the frozen lake, please. Look at this icy mess in Wisconsin. The owners of these cars just had to sit by and watch as their vehicles sink. More in this story coming up.
Boston was frolicking in the snow on Friday, getting another chance this work week. So we're going to tell you about not just one, but two chances of snow coming.
Omaha, Omaha, Omaha. Super Bowl Sunday finally here. Will we know who reigns supreme later on today? Will it be the Panthers or the Broncos? Your game time forecast coming up on Weekend Recharge.
All right, time check. 11 a.m. in the east, 8 a.m. in the west. You're watching Weekend Recharge. Hope you're having a great Sunday morning. I am. I'm Marie LaRosa.
And I'm Paul Goodlow. T-minus, what, 7.5 hours for Super Bowl 50, kicking off later today in Santa Clara, California.
He practiced all morning for that, believe it or not.
Talk about the weather conditions and about an impact on the game that's coming up.
It's good. Not so good, though. Other parts of the country experience some nasty weather. We've got more in the making, so we want to give you a snapshot. Let's get you recharged from the weekend, get your recharge for the week ahead. And yeah, we've got the coastal system in the southeast already producing some rain and snow, even a little sleet in the Carolinas. Meanwhile, this next system in through the northern plains, moving into the Midwest, it is a huge wind maker, already seeing gusts that have approached 100 miles per hour. How that'll play into our setup for snow early next week into the Northeast. In the meantime, though, you see all that red and orange. Temperatures not too bad, waiting for that big dip. We'll time all of this out for you coming up in a little bit. Paul?
Right now, let's take you to the Carolinas. A lot of people watching TV later on this evening, and right now we're also watching the weather. We've got Charleston, South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina, on the left side of your screen. On the right, we got Charlotte, home of your Panthers, and then we got the Frying Pan Shoals. I believe that's like a buoy offshore there in the Sound. But we're all going to experiencing some rain and even some sleet as we head throughout Super Bowl Sunday, and that's the forecast already. Reports of a lot of accidents along I-95 here in North Carolina. Reports of sleet east of Raleigh and Goldsboro, Selma, North Carolina, reporting sleet right now. That's all with our coastal low. And look at the radar, definitely seeing a lot of blue show up on the radar. So we're seeing the radar is detecting snow falling from the clouds, but then it melts before it hits the ground. But also some of that melted snowflakes, they freeze to ice pellets. That's sleet, and you're probably hearing that ting, 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 ting hitting your windshield or your roof or the window of your house here. And that is causing problems for travelers along I-95 because, yeah, that's talking about ice pellets. You can coat some roadways, especially the overpasses, with some ice even during a sleet event. But now offshore, our low is intensifying. Plenty of lightning here because the warm waters here across the Atlantic. That's called the Gulf Stream. There's kind of a ribbon of warm air coming out of the Gulf of Mexico and kind of hugs the coastline here, Atlantic coastline of the Carolinas. So our model forecast, we still have the snow throughout this afternoon. Starts to taper off, but our low continues to strengthen. So looking for some wind and some rain for the Outer Banks. Frying Pan Shoals definitely going to get hit pretty hard. Eventually things will quiet down tomorrow morning here, but at the same time it's quieting down here. It's really ramping up across New England. So here we go. Monday morning, more snow for you in Boston and Providence, New York City. Can't rule out some snowflakes. Better chance of snow eastern Long Island, but throughout the day the snow continues here. Boston, Providence in that 2 to 4 inch range, perhaps 6 to 8 out towards the Cape and the islands. And unlike Friday, not talking about rain, all snow for you. And also more snow here for our friends in Maine. Skiers and snowboarders loving that, but it could also linger into New Hampshire for Tuesday's primary. Take a look at the forecast here. Updated numbers. Boston to see more than 8 inches of snow. A 50-50 shot, so perhaps 4 or more. It's getting pretty good. So easily 2 to 4 inches, a no-brainer here in the Boston area, as well as Providence as well. So we do have a winter storm watch up for this area. That's storm number 1. But Maria, what's happening now across the Midwest will help give us storm number 2 for New England in just a couple of days.
Hey, it's a doozy when it comes to the wind component of this already. Seeing gusts that have been approaching 100 miles per hour, seeing widespread reports of gusts 50, 60 miles per hour. Hence the blizzard blizzard warnings, but not so much because of all the snow. We're looking at just a few inches of snowfall in some of these areas, and you can kind of see it. It looks pretty moisture starved, although you see it pretty wound up there in through the Midwest. Behind it is where we're seeing those screeching winds. You can see a lot of those gusts in that 20 to 30. Bismarck reported a gust just a little bit ago of 60 miles per hour, and I saw in my weather producer Brianna showing me that the Mud Butte, South Dakota, 74-mile-per-hour wind gusts. It is a battle between that low and that high. That's why we have those strong winds in behind it. But again, as far as snowfall, it is not a huge deal, but just enough if you are going to be traveling the Super Bowl parties or just trying to get out and about. Reduce visibility. That's going to be the thing. Even tonight, moving into Chicago, by tomorrow into Cincinnati and Cleveland, Columbus, and eventually into the Northeast, where it will be really begin to be the part of that next big snowmaker here. As far as totals, again, 1 to 3 widespread across the region, a few areas of 3 to 5 in the UP of Michigan. Paul?
Well, several people had to learn the hard and expensive way why not to park their cars on ice. In fact, at least 10 people lost their cars, and the cars deemed total losses after they fell through the ice on Lake Geneva outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It happened during the annual Winterfest celebration, which draws thousands of people to the area. Now, despite the warning signs, people still took a gamble to park on the ice, and that gamble did not pay off. The good news is nobody was hurt, but definitely the cars and their insurance premiums definitely took a big-time hit from this. We'll talk about some colder air on the way after this.
There's a more enjoyable way to get your fiber. Try Philips Fiber Good Gummies Plus Energy Support. It's a new fiber supplement that helps support regularity and includes B vitamins to help convert food to energy.
These are good. Nice work, Philips.
The tasty side of fiber from Philips.
Moved into this? Make it look like this. Let's check out our options. Give it some style. Perfect. Now, let's detail it. Let's put our ideas to work and step into a new favorite room. Let's do this. Buy vanities in-store and online today, starting at just $139. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
And I turn around and there's 3 rattlesnakes.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't worry, Rob, you're covered.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
If you're taking multiple medications, does your mouth often feel dry? A dry mouth can be a side effect of many medications, but it can also lead to tooth decay and bad breath. That's why there's Biotene. Available as an oral rinse, toothpaste, spray, or gel, Biotene can provide soothing relief, and it helps keep your mouth healthy, too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotene, for people who suffer from a dry mouth.
When your grip is starting to slip, handling nail clippers can be tough. Clip too closely and ouch! Introducing the amazing new Roto Clipper, the fast, easy way to trim and file your nails at the same time. Just push the button and insert your nail. In seconds, you have a perfectly trimmed nail. Just like an electric emery board, it precisely files each nail for a salon-smooth finish. Dual-sided Roto Clipper uses one side to trim nails and the other side to file them. The secret is the durable beveled blades that spin at a powerful 700 RPM to trim and shape fingernails to a smooth, flawless finish. Clippings are nasty. Not anymore. Roto Clipper's removable head means easy cleaning. The blades are recessed so they're safe to the touch. Roto Clipper won't harm your skin. It's delicate enough, it won't even damage a balloon. It's hard to see when you clip your nails, but with Roto Clipper's light, you can trim your nails with ease. Clipping your nails is a struggle. Let battery-operated Roto Clipper do the work for you. The ergonomic grip fits comfortably in your hand, perfect for arthritis sufferers.
I have a hard time bending down to trim my toenails. Roto Clipper makes it so easy.
I have patients coming in all the time to trim their nails. And now with Roto Clipper, they can trim their own nails and keep them healthy.
Did rough nails snag your stocking? Roto Clipper grooms nails with smooth, even edges. Kids will be chipper when you use Roto Clipper.
Cutting my son's nails used to be a battle, but with the Roto Clipper, it's so fun. He actually wants to trim his nails now.
Now get Roto Clipper for just $19. $19.99. Order right now and we'll double the offer and give you a second Roto Clipper totally free because there are no additional shipping and handling charges. That's 2 Roto Clipper nail trimmers for the price of 1.
To order Roto Clipper for $19.99 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-922-0675 or order online at rotoclipper.com.
We're geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 56 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62, winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43, winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67, winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
We're 10 minutes past the hour. A lot going into the setup here as we get into that next northeast snowmaker.
Yeah, we're kind of a pattern now. We have troughs across the eastern half of the nation to get even deeper and stronger. But what that does is basically allow the cold air to come in first, and then second, it develops coastal storms, and we're seeing one after the other kind of parade across the region.
Yeah, it's that time of year, right?
Yeah.
You get some of the biggest snowstorms this time of year. The setup here, you'll notice some commonalities in our 2 scenarios. The first one, you have that weakening low, which is now the wind driver in the northern plains, but that new low strengthens near the coast. It's going to take a turn to the northeast. The closer it is, though, we think more snow in that I-95 corridor and inland.
Now, another scenario has the same scenario, except this low model takes it a little farther offshore, so that expansive snow comes closer to the coast, so the interior not hit nearly as hard as the coast will be. It definitely still impacts there, but because it's farther away, the heart of the impacts also farther away from the region as well.
Yeah, and you're talking, tens of miles, not very much difference, and that is huge, right? So here's how we paint the picture. So tomorrow, the snow in New England is from the coastal low that we have off of the Carolinas right now, and then we have that weakening low that is producing the snow in the Ohio Valley.
Right, so what that will do is then spawn another surface low, and that one rolls in the same direction. So we're talking about Monday night into Tuesday. We got snow now all across New England, including states like New Hampshire. Little thing going on there Tuesday called the primary.
And so you can see there too, this may be a windfall, snowfall. We'll have to keep a close eye in places like DC, Baltimore, Central PA, West Virginia, but once again into New England.
Yeah, definitely a focus right now because of the primaries going on. In fact, New Hampshire is holding the nation's first presidential primary. It was a caucus in Iowa last week. This is the first primary for their presidential candidates. And wouldn't you know, we got more snow in the forecast.
All right, so we want to talk to Ted Gratzis, Mayor of Manchester, New Hampshire. Sir, thank you so much for taking time with us. You got a lot going on, not just Tuesday, but leading up to it. So how do you prepare for people who are out of town, people who will be headed to the polls, when you have a situation that could be unfolding like we do on Tuesday?
Maria and Paul, good morning. I can tell you that that low is going to head out to sea, and we won't have to worry about it here in New Hampshire. We won't have a lot of snow, and even if we have some snow, the Granite Staters are ready to get out and vote.
Spoken like a true politician.
I love it. I love it.
You could come work for us anytime. Well, let's talk about this, Mayor. Now, what about snowplow staffing for Monday night and Tuesday? Is that going to be enhanced because of what's going on with the primary on Tuesday?
Well, I can tell you we're all ready to go to make sure that the voters have an opportunity to get out to vote. And I've talked to our department head down at the highway department, and he's ready and able to get people out and get them plowed out and get the salt down on the ground. to make sure the traveling's safe.
And along with, of course, everyone who'll be heading out to the polls, there are a lot of events leading up to it. You have candidates, you have security. Any issues that we're running into now, even from the snow that we had on Friday?
No, it seems like everything's under control and people are excited to get to the polls. The candidates are out there banging on as many doors as they can in the next couple of days to make sure that voters are listening to their every movement and seeing every movement and making sure that they get out to vote.
All right, thank you very much. That is Mayor Ted Gatsas, mayor of Manchester, New Hampshire. And the big concern is, again, the weather, because even Donald Trump canceled a town hall meeting on Friday because of the weather that came in with Winter Storm Lexi across the region.
Yeah, but as the mayor mentioned, you know, it's February, New England, New Hampshire. They're ready any day of the winter, but certainly when it comes to the primaries, they'll be ready. Interesting, we had a little bit of a Weather Channel poll. I don't know if you could call it unscientific or scientific, but here's what we found, that the responders said heavy snow of Republicans, 8% of them would skip voting in the primary, but if it was just regular snow, only about 3%. Kind of the same vibe here with the Democrats.
Yeah, so basically, you know, heavy snow is going to keep a lot of people inside, which they should be, including just voting in the primary as well. Could be a different story if it was actually a presidential election. The primary, okay, who can run? Election is who's going to govern, so it could be an issue there, but we don't expect that in November as we look at our long-range forecast at this point here in February. But the bottom line is we are expecting a lot more snow across the entire region, not from just our first storm tomorrow morning, but a combination of storms through Wednesday. All
right, we got this story covered from all kinds of angles. All right, it is a great forecast for football.
That's right, Super Bowl L, otherwise known as Super Bowl 50, kicking off in about 7 hours and 15 minutes. The forecast coming up next.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything, even a stag pool party. And we covered it, October 27th, 2014. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Love drama? Go on a first date.
My passion is puppetry. Here?
I think we're done here.
Hate drama? Go to Cars.com. Research, price, find. Only Cars.com helps you get the right car without all the drama.
Ace has the lighting options you want and the answers you need. Get a 4-pack of Fight Warm White 60-watt LED bulbs, just $10.99 after $12 instant savings. Save over 50% on our longest-lasting LED bulbs, now just $10.99.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
I'm Andy, and I lost 30 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Listen up, guys. Want to shed a few pounds? Got a beer belly going on? Can't fit into your pants? I got one word for you, Nutrisystem.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I'm Trevor, and I lost 60 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's all-new Turbo 10. You can lose weight, too. Real guys, real results.
I'm Michael, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Put down the pie, pick up the phone, and get with the program today. Lose up to 10 pounds in your first month and 5 inches overall. You'll love it. Money back guaranteed.
The food was delicious.
If you're like me and you like to eat, this is what you get to do.
This is perfect for men, especially guys who don't want to cook.
So get off the couch and order your 28-day Nutrisystem plan right now. Get 1 week of all-new Turbo Shakes free and 1 week of NutriCrush Shakes free.
It's not that hard. You eat the food, you lose the weight.
Call 877-580-THIN and get the all-new Turbo 10 with 14 shakes free.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every
With more than 500,000 yards of lush and challenging Florida fairways, North America's #1 golf destination is calling your name and sharpening your game. Play where the pros play. In Paradise. Naples, Marco Island, the Everglades.
February 11th on FS1.
Brought to you locally by South Florida Ford. Go further. Online at southfloridaford.com.
Or visit grloans.com.
We're geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 54 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62, winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43, winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67, winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to Weekend Recharge. Time now to talk about this season of winter we're in, how it's really going to get real over the next couple of days here. Big trough, which is setting up, allowing the Arctic air to come through. So we've had our pushes of cooler air across the south. Now it's going to get darn right bone-chilling cold as even a deeper trough sets up. And we're going to have some of the coldest air of the season, not only stretch in the southeast and Gulf Coast, but over much of the eastern half of the nation. We're talking daytime highs closer to where the lows should be this time of the year for some cities. So early next week, temperatures drop some 10 to 20 degrees below average, and these are your afternoon high temperatures reaching all the way down towards South Florida as well. So today, it's cool. 68 in Miami, 66 in Tampa, 47 in Atlanta. Cool, all below average. But all cities will get colder as we head into this coming week. But take a look at this. First, we're going to have that cold air come to Nashville tomorrow. Rain showers change over to some snow. Not a huge snow event, not like the last couple events you've had here in Nashville. More like a light snow event or some flurries, just reminding you of the cold air on the way in here. So this next system coming here across the Midwest and Ohio Valley, limited moisture available, so more of a light snow event here across much of the region outside of the lake effect enhanced zones where the Great Lakes add to that moisture to give you more snow totals. But light snow showers even in Atlanta, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Birmingham, not expecting a lot of snow for you. But look what happens Tuesday afternoon. These aren't morning low temperatures. They could be, but they're not. These are highs. Only 34 in Atlanta, 21 degrees below average. Even into Florida, 49 in Jacksonville, 56 in Tampa, even New Orleans. On Fat Tuesday, a cool 52 degrees. Should be in the mid-60s this time of the year for highs. Then on Wednesday, the coldest day for Miami, 65 degrees. Everyone else starts to warm up slightly. So instead of 25 below average, you're like maybe only 20. In Atlanta, again, the depth of the cold comes through as we get on towards Tuesday. A high of only 34, which is below the average low this time of the year, which is 36 degrees. Well, that's the south. What about the rest of the nation over the next 7 days? Let's check that out now in a 7-day stretch.
All right, we got a lot to get through. We have the southeastern system and of course our ground blizzard underway with wind gusts to 60-70 miles per hour. Come Monday morning, now it's a snow producer places like Chicago, dicey, maybe drive tomorrow, but certainly into Boston.
Yeah, so watching our first coastal low come through here, we could see maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow in Boston. Heavier snows out towards the Cape and the Islands, and we're still watching our second system across the Ohio Valley, and that's eventually going to set up another coastal low as we head Monday night to Tuesday.
Yeah, and while that's dipping, you've got the ridge building in the west, and it's going to be warm. It is dry. Temperatures upper 80s for Los Angeles, along with the Santa Ana winds.
Yeah, that's going to dry things out. Fire danger sky high. But across the east, here's a coastal low developing, and that starts to bring more snow across the Mid-Atlantic, D.C., Baltimore, Philly for you, even New York City, and another batch of snow into the northeast New England, including New Hampshire.
Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on UDC for Tuesday. Should be wrapping up by later in the evening, but you got a full day, morning drive, lunch hour, and evening rush that could be impacted by this. Temp staying into the 30s. By Wednesday, it's pretty much out there, but you still see it lingering in through the northeast.
Yeah, and temperatures still on the cool side here for Atlanta, 41, but look at that, Minneapolis, 13 degrees for a high. Even that is below average for you.
Yeah, but you see where it's still not quite there. Mid-30s or low 30s from New York to Boston, so it's cold, but, you know, not out of the February norm, but still in the teens in Minneapolis, still into the 40s in Atlanta, still into the 60s in Miami.
Let's head to Friday, end of the week. We're still watching perhaps a little wintry mix across parts of northern Georgia. Atlanta, you could be in that as well. And temperatures cold. 27 for a high in Boston, 31 in NYC.
And we see a few changes on the map for the west, Pacific Northwest specifically, up the 5 here, Medford, Portland, as well as Seattle and inland Northwest with more rain and some mountain snow.
Cold and snow showers to start off your Valentine's Day weekend next Saturday.
Little snowshoe, West Virginia, getting more snow there, looking good. All right, they went as spectators only to quickly become the main event.
Yeah, the particular spot, more than a dozen drivers decided to park at this year's Winter Fest, and why their insurer likely won't have any sympathy.
Listen up. I'm here to get the lady of the house back on her feet and give her the strength and energy to stay healthy. Who's with me?
Yay! The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. Ensure. Take life in.
Oh, I'm not a security guard. I'm a security monitor. I only notify people if there's a robbery. There's a robbery.
Why monitor a problem if you don't fix it? That's why LifeLock does more than free credit monitoring to protect you from identity theft. We not only alert you to identity threats, if you have a problem, we'll spend up to $1 million on lawyers and experts to fix it. LifeLock. Join starting at $9.99 a month.
The challenges facing the country never stop. So neither does the U.S. Army. We train, adapt, and get smarter. Every soldier, every unit, every day. Not to keep up with change, but to drive it. Nobody knows what problems tomorrow will bring, but we do know who will solve them.
Never underestimate the power of Energizer. Our longest lasting Energizer Max ever.
Growing up, we were German. We danced in a German dance group. I wore lederhosen. When I first got on Ancestry, I was really surprised that I wasn't finding all of these Germans in my tree. I decided to have my DNA tested through Ancestry DNA. The big surprise was we're not German at all. 52% of my DNA comes from Scotland and Ireland. So I traded in my lederhosen for a kilt.
Ancestry has many paths to discovering your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
Well, the squirrels are back in the attic.
Mom?
Your dad won't call an exterminator.
Can I call you back, Mom?
He says it's personal this time.
If you're a mom, you call it the worst time. It's what you do. If you want to save 15% or more on car insurance, you switch to Geico. It's what you do.
Where are you? It's very loud there. Are you taking a Zumba class?
That's a lot of dishes.
No problem. I'll use a lot of detergent.
Dish issues get Cascade Platinum. 1 pack cleans tough food better than 6 packs of the bargain brand combined. Cascade.
A little rain, a little shine, a little change all the time. When the weather is fine.
Come on down to Weather Underground. Weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 54 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62, winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Beltone is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology. You will be asked to evaluate a remarkable product that's virtually invisible. Call 1-800-BELTONE.
Things that make you go, like parking on ice. Yeah, some of these owners, they could actually have thought about it twice. They had to watch their cars sink.
Yeah,
we'll have more on that story in a few minutes.
They wouldn't go, that's more like a
Oh, that too. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so you're having a great morning, hopefully, and a good decision to tune in. It is Weekend Recharge, and I'm Maria LaRosa.
And I'm Paula Goodlow. Well, hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. We're now, 7 hours away.
Yeah.
6:30 Eastern Time. 7 hours away from the Broncos versus the Panthers for the Super Bowl 50 championship here. The game forecast coming up. But first, we got snow in the hometown. Maybe we're like ice and sleet across the hometown of the Panthers in Charlotte.
Yeah, we're getting some reports out of Wake County that not only sleet falling, but heavily. So we're going to track that coastal storm, how it's going to wind up in Boston. Yes, and that Midwest wind and snowmaker, that's all coming together, all playing into that Northeast snowmaker early in the week. So let's start here. I-95 getting a little bit of a tricky drive here with some of that rain and snow, but it's definitely rain and wind along the coast. We'll time the rest of that. Meanwhile, lots of wind, a little bit of snow, a lot of mess here in parts of the northern plains and Midwest with gusts have already averaging 60-70 miles per hour. That's going to continue. We'll time that out. And watching all of this come together for a few days of snow chances here, including Monday into Tuesday. What we're looking at as far as totals and timing, that's all ahead. But first, let's start in the Midwest, Paul.
Yeah, blizzard warnings are up, as well as winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories, because we're expecting the snow to continue to fall, but also the wind to really crank up in this area as well. Right now on the radar and satellite, scattered snow showers persist. We'll see a lot more, but also this cold air coming through. We're going to see some enhancement by the lakes, meaning the lakes adding more moisture to the cold air, giving you even more snow downwind from these lakes. So kind of a lake enhanced snow. Then after that, we have lake effect snow, where it's only snowing because of those lakes. So right now it is very windy, winds gusting at times 50-60 miles per hour, and the core of these winds will continue to roll across the Dakotas and into areas of Iowa and Minnesota, Wisconsin, even Nebraska as we head throughout the day and into the evening as well. So hence the blizzard warnings up there, because the snow is falling and winds well over 35 miles per hour sustained for more than 3 hours. Expected to be kind of breezy in those blizzard conditioned stats, maybe through this time tomorrow. So maybe a 24-hour-long blizzard going on here across areas of the northern plains and upper Midwest. So today, look for the snow and the blowing snow around. Temperatures continue to fall as we head through tonight and tomorrow. So tomorrow, a lot colder than today. So if you like the milder weather, enjoy today. It's just downright brutally cold tomorrow with the wind chills as well. And look for the snow to continue to push on toward Chicago. Even Indianapolis seeing some snow, and then some lake effect snow as well coming across this region. So how much will we see? We have areas that have the enhancement because of the lake effect snow event, but we still have perhaps a half foot to a foot of snow. But generally, a broad area, 1 to 3, 3 to 5 here across the Twin Cities. Even Green Bay could see around 3 to 5 inches of snow. Parts of Gary, Indiana, in that 3-5 inches. Indy, maybe a dusting to about 1 inch of snow. So we're not going to see a whole widespread huge snow event for many, but definitely impactful for some narrow bands here. Minneapolis, snow comes down as we head to tonight and tomorrow morning, and the winds stay up as well. And look at the temperatures, only in the teens even by lunchtime tomorrow. In fact, the sun comes up and temperatures will probably peak early in the morning before they continue to cool in the afternoon. We're also watching the snow move into the mid-Atlantic, across the Ohio Valley, but also across the Northeast as well. We're going to have much more about this storm coming up, a couple of storms, I should say, coming up across parts of New England as we head throughout this morning. But right now, let's head back to the Midwest, and I want to show you a perfect example of why you never really want to park on ice when you don't know exactly how deep it is. And sometimes this could never be a good idea. Several people learned a very hard and expensive lesson. At least 10 cars deemed total losses after they fell through the ice on Lake Geneva in Wisconsin. It happened during the annual Winterfest celebration, which draws thousands of people to the area. Despite the warning signs, people took a gamble and decided to park on the ice, which was not nearly strong enough. And the bad news is they lost their cars. Look at this. These are the temperatures. Lake Geneva, 34 degrees, and we've had days of temperatures warming up above freezing, so that ice not nearly strong enough and deep enough to support those vehicles. The only good news is nobody was injured except their pride and their wallets, Maria.
And that's a lot. That hurts a lot. And we're so glad that nobody was hurt, but yikes. All right, let's turn our attention out to the Carolinas, where we have some weather happening, right? So here's 95, and looking at the radar's picking up that precipitation as blue, as snowfall, but there's a lot of sleet mixing in there too. Reports out of Wake County, North Carolina. Some of that sleet coming down pretty quickly, and unfortunately on these major interstates like 95 and I-40, if you don't have the visual of the actual snowflakes, sometimes you don't take that precaution to slow it down. So this is enough. You've got to slow it down. It's certainly wet, and along the coast too, it is windy as our big storm really begins to wind up here. The good news is by late tonight, we're talking after 9-10 o'clock, the rain's wrapping up the Outer Banks. The wind's going to ease up as that storm pulls away for now, but it's already en route to the Northeast, and here we already have those winter storm watches out for parts of Boston and Providence. But as far as the snowfall goes, you count on the snow being around for part of the early morning drive around Boston, around Providence, and you can see in through even tomorrow evening from maybe even New York and Hartford getting in on some of the snow, depending on how close it gets, and even into, once again, Maine and New Hampshire getting in on some of that snow in through early on Tuesday. This is separate from that next snowmaker that we're talking about Tuesday into Wednesday, believe it or not. But again, those winter storm watches are up for maybe as much as 4 to 5 inches of snowfall in parts of the Boston area, certainly out towards the Cape. The chances are very, very good that we're certainly going to see that 2 to 4 inch range, but maybe, as you can see with the probabilities, Paul, 50% of 8 inches or more.
So you're saying we got a chance?
We got a chance.
It's also, we got a chance for some great weather for Super Bowl 50 today. Fans are excited, so are the players. The Bay Area is just electric with activity here. We're hours away from kickoff. We'll have your forecast coming up next.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy from Olive Garden's most mouth-watering dishes, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 classic favorites to enjoy on one plate, like our delicious new shrimp ravioli with lobster Alfredo, a filled pasta like irresistible tortellini al forno, and a classic like creamy fettuccine Alfredo, plus unlimited salad and freshly baked breadsticks. Because the best tour of Italy is the one you create, only at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. Breadstick sandwiches.
I am never getting married. We're never having kids.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, State Farm is there.
Moved into this? Make it look like this. Let's check out our options. Give it some style. Perfect. Now, let's detail it. Let's put our ideas to work and step into a new favorite room. Let's do this. Buy vanities in-store and online today, starting at just $139. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Seal, the easy way to coat, seal, and stop leaks fast. And now, there's Flex Seal Liquid, this super thick rubber that you could pour right into cracks to stop water dead in its tracks. You could brush or roll on large areas for a watertight seal. Even dip all your tools for a tough, no-slip grip. Flex Seal starts out as a thick liquid and turns into a super strong, flexible rubber. Dip PVC pipes or downspouts to create a watertight seal that lasts for years. This rubberized coating prevents rust and corrosion. In extreme heat or cold, Flex Seal liquid keeps its hold. Unlike thin paints, Flex Seal liquid is super thick and creates a flexible barrier that's completely waterproof. It's like a handyman in a can. Flex Seal liquid is safe around plants and animals, so we used it to seal this fish pond. Now any project, big or small, with Flex Seal, you can do them all. To show you the incredible sealing power of Flex Seal liquid, we made this entire airboat out of screen and covered it in Flex Seal liquid. After a day on the water, flying through alligator-infested swamps, Flex Seal's watertight barrier takes a beating, stays strong and flexible, and the inside is completely dry. Yahoo! Brush, roll, dip, or pour. Imagine everything you could do with Flex Seal liquid. You'll get a large can of Flex Seal liquid for just $19.99. Plus, we'll include a handy can of Flex Seal and Flex Shot. That's a large can of Flex Seal liquid and a handy can of Flex Seal and Flex Shot. All for just $19.99. Order now.
To order Flex Seal liquid today, call 1-800-931-2290. That's 1-800-931-2290. Go to flexsealliquid.com. Call or go online now.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62. Winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
20 minutes before the top of the hour, two teams and their fans ready to square off later today in Super Bowl 50. The Carolina Panthers battle the Denver Broncos for the NFL championship. The game is being played at the new Levi's Stadium just outside San Francisco. Kickoff set for 3:30 local time, 6:30 in the East.
Now, this is the second trip to the Super Bowl for the Panthers, but still no rings for Carolina. But this is the 8th Super Bowl appearance for the Broncos. They won 2 of the Super Bowls back in 1999 and 98 with John Elway. Denver has still a bitter taste. The last time they appeared in the Super Bowl was 2 years ago, where they lost to Seattle 43-8 thanks to the 12th man.
All right, well, Peyton's got 1 ring, right?
Omaha.
Cam, no ring, but lots of gorgeous conditions out there for the fans. The players 71 by about kickoff time and light winds. I mean, perfection.
Speaking of Peyton in the Super Bowl, he won his ring during the wettest Super Bowl back in, I think it was 2010 or 11.
Prince was halftime show.
Yes, it was raining in Miami.
Yeah.
Great halftime show. This year, Coldplay.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
All right. Yeah, cloud spotters in the UK and Ireland getting terrific views of rare Nacreous clouds over the first few days of February.
Let's talk about our Cloud of the Month with Gavin Peter-Pinney, founder of the Cloud Appreciation Society from Somerset, England. Thanks for joining us this morning, Gavin. And where are these Nacreous clouds most commonly spotted?
Well, you normally wouldn't see them as far south as England, and certainly the middle of England where they've been spotted recently, because they are also known as polar stratospheric clouds, all right, which means they form around the poles. They're most spotted around the poles, and they're very high up, much higher than normal clouds, up within the stratosphere. That's 10 to 15 miles up.
And they really have such a distinctive look, that iridescence, that mother of pearl look. What are the conditions that make that form?
Well, they are also known as mother-of-pearl clouds because of these beautiful pearlescent pastel colors. Some people have were mistaking them for the northern lights because of these colors, and they weren't used to seeing these in the sky. Those colors are caused by diffraction. It's the sunlight being bent slightly as it passes around the tiny ice crystals of these high clouds. The different wavelengths are bent by different amounts, and so they get separated out, and you see bands of colors of pinks and blues and yellows.
So with you seeing them in England now, so I'm assuming weather has a big play in terms of where you could actually see these types of clouds.
Sure, and it's crucially the temperature up in the stratosphere, this lower part of the stratosphere where these clouds form. Now, normally it's not cold enough over the middle of Britain, where north of Scotland, up at the top you can sometimes see them, but generally the rest of Britain you don't get them. And that's because temperatures up in the stratosphere need to be like maybe minus 120 Fahrenheit, something like that, for it to be cold enough, because the stratosphere is very, very dry. Water doesn't easily get up there, and so it needs to be very cold for the ice crystals to form with the little moisture that's there. And it just so happens that over the last few weeks, this vortex we have around the pole, we've got one around the North Pole, one around the South Pole, of cold air. It meanders a bit like the jet stream, and it has meandered down, and you've had a patch of cold Arctic air over Britain, but high up. It's not like we've been filling it down the ground, it's high up, and that's what's caused the ice crystals to form and these beautiful clouds to appear.
That is fascinating. So I'm guessing winter's the time, winter's the season, because you do need it that cold.
That's right, you do. You need it to be cold. So these clouds are only observed in the winter, most commonly nearer the Arctic, and there are other high clouds that are formed in the summer, but they're even higher up, and that's because it all depends on the layer of the atmosphere, when it's at its coldest. And so there are higher layers of the atmosphere which are at their coldest in the summer, weirdly, but this part, as you'd expect, is in the winter. So they are observed in the winter. Polar stratospheric clouds, nacreous clouds, or mother of pearl. They're beautiful, one of the most beautiful and rarest of the formations.
And we're seeing all these beautiful photos of them. Gavin Prater-Pinney, thank you so much.
Let's not lose them yet. Let's go off script real quick, Gavin. We have a thing called the Super Bowl going on today. We just found out your mom's from New York. You haven't lived in the States, though. Do you have a pick of the winner, Broncos or Panthers, today?
Oh, wow, that is hard, especially since I don't know anything about either teams. But I'm going to go for Broncos.
Woohoo! All right. I'm with you, Gavin. All right, sir, thank you so much. We'll be right back.
I've always been protective of my little sister. But when she got cancer, she was the strong one. She learned while she needed chemo, it could weaken my immune system. But then you found out about Neulasta. Right.
Neulasta helps reduce infection risk by boosting your white blood cell count, which strengthens your immune system. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease.
Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to Neulasta or Neupogen. Ruptured spleens, sometimes fatal, as well as serious lung problems, allergic reactions, kidney injuries, and capillary leak syndrome have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, allergic reactions, puffiness in face or ankles, change in urine, swelling of stomach area, feeling of fullness, dizziness, or feeling faint to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
Ellie's strong, but she still needs help. Yeah, I do.
Ask your doctor about Neulasta.
I smoked a lot and quit a lot, but ended up nowhere. Now I use this.
The Nicoderm CQ patch with unique extended release technology helps prevent the urge to smoke all day.
I want this time to be my last time. That's why I choose Nicoderm CQ.
Here's something new. Now you can get the Weather Channel forecast on the new LL Bean app. Just tap, shop, and discover. The new app from LL Bean, featuring forecasts from the Weather Channel. Download today.
And I turn around and there's 3 rattlesnakes.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't worry, Rob, you're covered.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell.
Good morning, honey. Come on. Okay,
Don't worry if you don't always know what you're doing. Neither do they.
Baby, where are you? Stay.
But PetSmart can help with puppy answers and everything else you need, from crates, teething toys, and puppy food to skilled trainers and a Puppy Smart staff. Plus, find over $250 in coupons in our new PetSmart Puppy Guide.
When you're on hold, your business is on hold. That's why Comcast Business doesn't leave you there. When you call, a small business expert will answer you in about 30 seconds. No annoying hold music. Just a real person, real fast, whenever you need them. So your business can get back to business. Sounds like my ride's ready.
Don't get stuck on hold. Reach an expert fast. Comcast Business, built for business.
996 or order online at getwonderwallet.com.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62. Winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Minutes for the top of the hour. Time to get you updated on all the winter weather that we're watching. We're going to start with this. We're calling it a ground blizzard for good reason. We've got winds 60, 70 miles per hour and a little bit of snow. Yeah, snow falling. And here's the thing. The winds which will create this blizzard will last for about 24 hours. Talking about sustained over 35 miles per hour. Basically starting later on this afternoon, going through tomorrow this time. All right. So with those winds, you don't need a lot of snow to reduce visibility to almost nothing. That's really the concern here. You can see from Fargo, there have been reports in South Dakota, Mud Butte, South Dakota, with a wind gust of 74 miles per hour. That is swinging on through, and it's going to be bringing some snow in through places like Chicago by tomorrow morning. And I think, was it Castle Rock, Brianna? What just told us something Castle
about Castle
Rock.
Rock. 65 mile per hour winds in Castle Rock. I guess some of the Game of Thrones fans would know what that means. We are in the dark like we were earlier about that, but we're still going to get some snow. And see the pinks here and some of the purples? That's the lake enhancements, where you're seeing lake effect snow combined with the general snow, giving you some higher totals there. And even once the general snow stops, we'll still have that northwesterly flow giving us more lake effect snow through this coming week. Yeah, you even see a little bit of a hint there off of Lake Michigan. But again, overall, not a ton, but just enough, so keep that in mind. But we're definitely watching this one off the southeast coast. Look at these gusts as this thing really ramps up to already to 30, 40, even 50 mile per hour. That buoy just off of North Carolina. You can kind of see the rotation counterclockwise. That's low pressure, and the forecast for the winds here will continue to increase as we head through the afternoon and through tonight as well. And we have potential of seeing winds offshore 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 miles per hour offshore. All right, but as far as what's falling from the ground, from the sky right now, hitting the ground, right along 95, you have I-40 there. There's Raleigh, Wake County reporting some sleet, so there's probably a mixture in there. Take it easy. Hearing about a number of accidents on some of these interstates, so really take it slow. Yeah, sleet coming now into the Durham area as well. Not quite in Raleigh yet, but we're watching that system give us that mess in the Carolinas today. Tomorrow morning, it's slamming areas of eastern Long Island, parts of New England, the Boston, Providence. We could easily see 4 inches, maybe even a little bit more, but a sure bet will be the Cape and the Islands. And look at this, the probabilities for Boston, 2 inches, sure thing. 4 inches or more, 70%. And even 8 inches, you got a 50-50 shot. Flip a coin, how many times you'll get heads. You know, it's like talking, it's a good chance of seeing a sizable, impactful snow now in Boston. Yeah, we're going to continue to get new data in for the new models here, but we've got the next storm swinging on through. That's all coming together.
together as we get into that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. Still some scenarios setting up with that system, but we do think that coastal low will be developing. It's about where it's going or where it's not going.
Yeah, again, it's closer to the coast. We see a lot more snow, a little farther away. Still some snow on the coast, but not so much in the interior.
We'll be right back with a look at Mardi Gras.
Love drama? Go on a first date.
My passion is puppetry. Here? I think we're done here.
Hate drama? Go to Cars.com. Research, price, find. Only Cars.com helps you get the right car without all the drama.
Brett Favre is about to speak. Let's listen in.
First question.
Yeah, hey Brett, what are all the rumors about?
Well, the fact is, coming out of retirement.
Wow, that's big news.
Yeah, but the real news is that I'm changing the game in shaving.
Did he just say shaving?
Yeah, because now you don't have to pay a bunch of money to get a great shave. Now there's Tough Blade.
Finally, one razor that gives you a smooth shave and a blade that lasts up to 4 times longer.
Can you tell us why the Tough Blade lasts longer?
First, we use better blades made in Germany.
When it comes to shaving your face, you want a true quality blade that'll shave you close and glide smoothly over even the most sensitive skin.
So what's the secret, Brett? What makes the Tough Blade glide?
It's simple. Our blades have a Teflon coating.
And with our non-stick surface and smart blade spacing, each Tough Blade rinses clean easily, and no gunky buildup means a smoother shave and a longer lasting blade.
Brett, lots of blades to choose from. Why should I switch to the Tough Blade?
Look, the big razor brands, they want you to change your blade every single week, where the Tough Blade cartridges last for months. Any more questions?
No, we get it. Tough Blade is the answer.
You better get it. Tough Blade. It's the best way to get back in the game.
You could spend $20 for just 4 replacement blades, or you can get a great shave for the entire year for just $19.99 with the Tough Blade. As a free bonus, you'll also get our Micro Touch Trimmer for precise grooming around ears, nose, eyebrows, neck, and sideburn. Call 1-800-743-6181 or go to toughblade.com now to get your Tough Blade with enough cartridges for a year's worth of perfect shaving and a Micro Touch Trimmer for just $19.99.
No doubt about it. Tough Blade shaves you better, saves you more.
To get your Tough Blade and a year's worth of perfect shaving plus the Micro Touch Trimmer, call or go to toughblade.com now.
Call 1-800-743-6181. That's 1-800-743-6181. Don't delay. Order now.
It's Amazing Out There means to me the wonder and the wow of weather.
Everything is amazing.
It means looking up and being inspired, even if it's just straight up blue skies. I mean, how beautiful is that? That little burst of red that happens when the sun comes right over the ocean.
Watching lightning streaking across the sky.
And the roll of the thunder, it's just one of the most amazing things.
Every single day is going to be something spectacular. It is truly amazing out there.
Coming up in a few minutes, we're talking about maybe 5 minutes to be exact, a brand new edition of Weather Geeks. Very own Dr. Marshall Shepard talks about ways to build communities that can stand up to storms. New guidelines to prepare cities and towns for disasters. Weather Geeks, brand new episode coming up at the top of the hour.
But first,
there's more.
There's more. And there's more people out and about. You got Jackson Square, a live look there on the right. Bourbon Street, there on the left. Everyone's waking up with that sunshine after a good time last night.
Yeah, all this is leading up to Fat Tuesday celebrations in just a couple of days. Then you have Ash Wednesday, and you got to shut it all down for the 40 days of Lent.
That's right. So you get it all out now.
Yep.
Now, we neither of us have been to a legitimate Mardi Gras New Orleans thing.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
But we're going. We should
Okay.
take the show on the road to New Orleans. We're a morning show, so we're safe.
Yeah,
Don't do a
totally safe.
nighttime
Totally
show
safe.
in
Yeah.
Bourbon Street.
I would love to go right now because this weather is pretty spectacular. I mean, you've got 57 by later on this evening. Fair skies tonight, dropping into the 40s. Looks great.
For the locals, it's a little cool. Should be 65, 66. But if you're visiting, still, this is, unless you're visiting from Florida, this is a nice temperature to enjoy in New Orleans and Bourbon Street.
Yeah, I can always appreciate rain-free too, especially if you want to be out and about and taking in the sights and the sounds of a city like New Orleans. A little breezy tomorrow, but fair skies continue even through tomorrow night ahead of Fat Tuesday. Temperatures dropping into the 30s. This is that cold blast that all of the eastern half of the country is going to be experiencing.
A little chilly on Monday and Tuesday. High temperatures still staying in the lower 50s for Fat Tuesday celebrations across the Big Easy.
All right. And, oh, what? Remember we were talking about the lights out. This is funny.
Yeah.
Should we reenact? I was doing this. Our lights went out,
I was trying
and
to go like
we
that.
had some fun with some shadow puppeting
Apparently
ourselves.
we had a power hit in the studio here, and the lights just went out for a second. I guess we have stuff that's already on. We have a power supply that you can't take a hit on, so that's why our maps worked, and that's why you're able to see us, but we couldn't see each other because the studio went black for a quick moment.
But what was great is we had our crew descend upon the studio and take care of business, and we're back up and running.
Yeah.
But just in time to wrap up the show. We hope everyone has a great Sunday, whatever you've got going on today. Hopefully you'll stick around a few more minutes. We've got Weather Geeks ahead with Dr. Marshall Shepard.
We guarantee no power hits for that show. He's going to talk about getting communities like New Orleans ready for future disasters. Otherwise, hope you got ready for a fantastic Sunday and a Super Bowl Sunday as we head through this evening.
Paul and I will see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62, winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43, winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67, winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And welcome to Weather Geeks, and we're talking all about building resilient communities today with things like Superstorm Sandy or Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Katrina, Joplin tornadoes. This is something we have to think about, so we've invited Dr. Terry McAllister. She's a leader with the Community Resilience Group at the National Institute for Standards and Technology. I hope I said that right, but we better know it as NIST. Tell us, first of all, what is NIST as an agency and what's it about?
So NIST is a federal research agency that uses measurement science to improve the economy and the quality of life across America. And the part of NIST that I'd like to talk about today, we work a lot on understanding weather events, how to measure them, and how the built environment, building and infrastructure systems respond to weather events.
Sure. Yeah, and for example, with Joplin and the tornadoes there, I know one building was a hospital that was damaged, and that certainly has implications. Now, I mentioned resiliency. That's a jargony term. A lot of our viewers out there may not know exactly what that means. So first of all, let's start there. What does resilience mean?
So resilience can be summarized as protect and prepare for an event, a hazard event, be ready to withstand or adapt to a hazard event, and to be prepared to recover the functions that you've lost during a hazard event. So you go from start to finish. Resilience is sometimes referred to as an outcome, but it's also a process that goes on as communities are developing things.
Well, let me stop you right there, because to me, some of that mission sounds a little bit about what we think FEMA does. So how does FEMA play into a tornadic event that ravages a town versus what you're talking about?
So yes, FEMA does a tremendous job working with communities to help them prepare and do the emergency response afterwards for life safety, making sure that people have shelter. But NIST, as a research agency, is taking a broader view than FEMA does based on its authorities and regulations. So after looking at Hurricane Sandy, Joplin, all these events that affect large regions and communities, we've understood that we have to think about how these systems work together to support the social needs that everyone expects to be in place when a community recovers from an event.
Right, and speaking of that, last October you issued a planning guide, and I think it's called Toward a More Resilient Community. Tell us a little bit about that guide, and were there particular weather events that led to the development of this guide?
Well, NIST has a very long history of studying disasters, and I think it was the accumulation of looking at disaster events and how things performed over 30, 40, 50 years. But recently with Katrina and Sandy and Joplin, we saw that just one building failing wasn't the problem. It was entire areas being damaged and one system being dependent upon another.
Right.
So the guide addresses how social needs need to be considered when you're designing your built environment, your buildings and infrastructure systems, how communities are the local governments, are the logical conveners to bring the stakeholders together and to determine what their resilience needs to look like.
Okay, well, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, just a little bit, because I'm a former Fed, and sometimes we produce these pamphlets, these guides, these planning guides. Who's the target audience and how is it being distributed? In other words, I mean, these are things that we put out there, but are they going to be used? How are they intended to be used?
So the target audience, we use the term community.
Okay.
The community has a local government that's enabling for laws to be passed, for resolutions to be adopted so that things can be done.
Okay.
Just making a plan isn't enough.
Exactly. It's got to be used by the stakeholders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we've been having workshops. We go to conferences, and we have struck, I think, a chord. We have had a lot of calls and a lot of requests for the guide. It's been downloaded 1,600 times since it's been released.
Okay, let's up that a little bit more, Weather Geeks viewers and these planners and stakeholders. Let me get to a question, though. Do we take for granted as communities, towns, cities, we often are responsive or reactive society. We don't really kind of do anything or plan for anything until it happens. And how do we kind of change the mindset to prepare ahead and plan?
So I think it's just a little bit of a paradigm shift. Communities plan right now. They have economic development plans. They have land use plans, right? The guide is asking them to take all these different plans and to consider them together and how they affect the community, and then to prioritize which ones are really important to that community and the goals that they want to achieve.
Right. Now, what would you say? I mean, we're in tough physical times in the eyes of some, and we're watching every penny. What would you say to someone that came up to you and said, Terry, you know, I mean, I see what you're trying to do here, but I would rather place those dollars somewhere else. That's just really a waste of money to try to prepare for something that I just don't know may happen. Yeah, my hospital may get hit by an EF4 tornado, but it may not. How would you respond to that?
Resilience improves not only response after a large event, but everyday life. How many communities experience power going out or degradation of their infrastructure? And this involves thinking about those systems and improving the quality of life as well as the long-term resilience.
Yeah.
So this is a win-win thing for communities to engage with.
Yeah, and I hear you on that, but are there, NIST or perhaps other parts of our federal system, are there dollars that are attached to potential savings? In other words, do we have any ways of knowing, projecting out potential savings from some of these types of measures?
That is something that we're working on right now. We are looking at economic models and tools that can help communities estimate if we choose alternative A or alternative B, which one would be better for us in the long term. And that is something that we're working on now.
Right. So we just had here this winter a Category 4 blizzard here in the Northeast. Here we're based in Atlanta, and I can imagine that there are resiliency issues related to that as well. When I come back from the break, we want to get into some of the resiliency guide itself. We're going to break it down. We're going to walk through it and apply it to some of the weather events that we've been talking about on Weather Geeks. But first, our Geek of the Week.
This week's Geek of the Week is Kevin Nelson, Senior Policy Analyst for the Office of Sustainable Communities at the EPA. When Kevin is not cheering on his alma mater, Notre Dame, fly fishing in Colorado, or spending time with his family, he's working really hard to help communities become stronger, healthier, and more sustainable. His favorite type of weather, get this one, is no weather at all. crystal clear nights that are ideal for stargazing. That's awesome. Congratulations to Kevin Nelson, our Geek of the Week.
The Citi Double Cash Card comes in very handy with cash back twice. With 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. With 2 ways to earn on purchases, it makes a lot of other cards seem one-sided.
What Super Poly Grip does for me is it keeps the food out. Before, those little pieces would get in between my dentures and my gum, and it was uncomfortable.
Just a few dabs is clinically proven to seal out more food particles.
Super Poly Grip is part of my life now.
Moved into this? Make it look like this. Let's check out our options. Give it some style. Perfect. Now, let's detail it. Let's put our ideas to work and step into a new favorite room. Let's do this. Buy Vanities in-store and online today, starting at just $139. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
That's a lot of dishes.
No problem. I'll use a lot of detergent.
Dish issues get Cascade Platinum. 1-pack cleans tough food better than 6 packs of the bargain brand combined. Cascade.
There's $1 million hidden under there.
Oh my God, look at that!
I am the blue!
All new episodes of Prospectors, Sunday nights at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, a mix of clouds and sun with gusty winds. High 62, winds west-northwest at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, generally clear. Low 43, winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, partly cloudy skies. High 67, winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We're geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
You're my buddy, my pal, my friend. It will be that way until the end. And wherever you go, I want you.
Making the most out of every mile. That's why I got a Subaru Impreza.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you.
We're never having kids.
Breathe. I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs. We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, State Farm is there.
Listen up. I'm here to get the lady of the house back on her feet and give her the strength and energy to stay healthy. Who's with me?
Yay! The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. Ensure. Take life in.
And we are back with Dr. Terry McAllister of NIST, and we are going to talk about the 6 steps for planning community resilience. And with things like the South Carolina floods of 2015, yes. The blizzard of the 2016, Sandy, this is really important stuff. So let's just walk through these 6 steps. And the first step is form a collaborative planning team. Put that in the context of some of these events we've been talking about, or what does that mean?
So the collaborative planning team means that you need first a leader for the community that will coalesce the resilience planning and make sure that it continues and doesn't get subsumed into other activities. And you also need all the stakeholders that you want to be participating in building resilience in your community. This could be social organizations, could be the power utilities, water treatment, building owners, and some of them are private, some of them are public. You need all of those constituents to work with you.
And when you have that team in place, you've got to then understand the situation, and that really involves bringing together some of the societal or social dimensions and physical environments. Talk quickly about that.
So the purpose of the second step is you need to understand where you are now. So you need to understand...
It's an assessment, basically.
It's an assessment. If you had an event hit, would the social systems be able to respond as you think? Or are you going to end up with no health care? Are you going to end up with no water for a period of time?
Right.
And then you look at how these systems depend on each other, and that gives you a starting place for deciding how you want to proceed.
Okay, and so that leads us into step 3, which is determine your goals and objectives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's very important in the guide for people to understand that communities need to determine their long-term goals and maybe some of their short-term goals for vulnerabilities before they worry about hazard impacts. You can't let the hazards dictate your decisions. You need to think about how quickly you want to recover and the sequence of recovery.
Right. Okay. Step 4, plan development.
Yes, so now, knowing what you'd like to do for your recovery and your withstanding the event, now you look at the hazards you expect and may find that we'd like our health care back in 24 hours, but look, it's going to be 2 weeks.
Right.
What are we going to do about that?
Right.
And this is a step where you think through alternatives and start developing plans to address those gaps.
And this step 5, I want to understand the differences here. This is plan, preparation, review, and approval. How does that differ from what we just talked about?
So we've been doing a lot of very deep plan development in step 4. In step 5, you need to summarize it and put the final plan together and share it again with the community and all the stakeholders. Without buy-in from everybody, this is not going to take place over the long term.
And the final step, plan, implementation, and maintenance. So this is kind of the final step. Put the bow on it.
This is where the rubber meets the road, right? We have to implement this plan 1 year, 1 step at a time. But the community needs to be aware of the steps being made. They need to be kept informed. You want that buy-in and participation.
We've got 30 seconds here, so quick answer, but are there cases where you know that this is being implemented or put into practice as we speak, so to speak, or is this still just being put out there initially?
Well, this is new, and communities are looking at it right now. So they are starting to consider the guide and compare it to their own processes.
Okay. And that's a perfect lead-in, because when we get back, we're going to look at some of the lessons learned from the guide and how communities are changing their practices and best practices because of it. Next on Weather Geeks.
And I turn around and there's 3 rattlesnakes.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't worry, Rob, you're covered.
State Farm agents are there whenever you need them.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
I'm Andy, and I lost 30 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Listen up, guys. You want to shed a few pounds? You got a beer belly going on? You can't fit into your pants? I've got one word for you. Nutrisystem. I'm Dan Marino, and I lost 22 pounds with Nutrisystem.
Lose weight fast with Nutrisystem's all-new Turbo 10.
Lose up to 10 pounds plus 5 inches in your first month.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Put down the pie, pick up the phone, and get with the program today.
I'm Michael, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
The food's awesome. If you're like me and you like to eat, that's what you get to do. With Turbo 10, you get delicious meals in 1 week of all-new Turbo Shakes, free, packed with protein plus probiotics to bust that gut.
And 1 week of Nutri-Crush shakes to crush hunger, free.
Nutrisystem works. You'll love it, guaranteed. So guys, put down the pie and pick up the phone right now.
Call 877-671-THIN and get the all-new Turbo 10 with 14 shakes free.
It's amazing out there to me means, just the beauty of what is around us. A beautiful sunrise, waves crashing on the beach, enjoying that first snowfall of the season, watching a tornado spin in the plains of Oklahoma. To me,
Maxwell's is now open in the Driftwood Plaza of Jupiter. Gold, silver, coins, diamonds, jewelry, paintings, and objects of art. If you don't want it or wear it, sell it to Maxwell's. We buy and sell diamonds of all sizes, clarity, and condition up to 10 carats in size and above. We have decades of experience buying and selling gold, coins, diamonds, and objects of art. Maxwell's, located in the Driftwood Plaza on US 1 in Jupiter, Florida.
The conference call, the ultimate arena for business. Hour after hour of diving deep, touching base, and putting ducks in rows. The only problem with conference calls, eventually they have to end. Unless you have the Comcast Business Voice mobile app. It lets you switch seamlessly from your desk phone to your mobile with no interruptions. I've never felt so alive.
Make your business phone mobile with voice mobility. Comcast Business, built for business.
Wait, call now.
we're geeking out on what's happening in weather, how it happens, and why it's so freaking cool.
Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel. We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready.
Let me get you ready for the day weather-wise. We've got a lot going on this morning.
Definitely see what kind of pattern we've had.
So start your morning routine with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jan Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
It is a team here at the Weather Channel, and an awesome team at that.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, partly cloudy and windy. High 62. Winds west-northwest at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 43. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 67. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And we are back talking resilience, and I want to ask a question here. It's just kind of been in my head since we've been talking about this, and we'll get into some of the lessons learned here. But in your opinion, as an expert on this, what is the hardest disaster to prepare for, to plan for in your mind? Or can you be that specific?
I don't know that I would focus on the hazard event, because what you're trying to do is understand a built environment, existing infrastructure and systems. So really what's difficult in many ways is understanding what the condition is and how it might perform.
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on the condition as well as how broad of an area the hazard might impact.
Okay. Yeah, so we just talked about these 6 steps of the plan. In your estimation, what's the hardest part of the plan, either from a standpoint of implementation or adoption by cities, towns, communities? What's the challenge, big challenge?
A big challenge, I think, is getting all the stakeholders to the table.
Okay.
Understanding each other, because this is a new way to bring groups together that don't typically talk to each other.
So give me an example. Who ideally would be some of these people? Who are some of the groups? Is it mayors? Is it planners? Who is it?
Well, certainly you need your city government.
Okay.
You need your public works. You need your roads, transportation, power, utility. You need your building owners. Some are public, some are private. You need people that understand healthcare systems, education systems, vulnerable populations, and how their needs need to be addressed after an event. And we have found that a lot of these groups work very hard on this issue, but they don't often talk to each other.
You know, this is an interesting point, because here in the Atlanta area where we're taping the show, we had the Atlanta Snow Jam, and it's almost 2 years to the day from our taping. And I was on the Mayor of Atlanta's Preparedness Task Force, but the interesting thing is that was after the event. But your plan is really talking about bringing these stakeholders together before the event in a planning capacity. You've kind of gotten some examples of this. You see some examples of this happening. 5 years from now, what would you hope would be the result of this plan kind of out there in society? What is a metric of success, or what do we hope to see 5 years out?
5 years from now, we hope to see communities thinking much more broadly about what it means for their long-term planning, for their economic growth and development, that they will be saying, we are a resilient community, and this is why you should live here, because we understand what it means to have a good quality of life and how to recover rapidly from events.
Now, and let's play teacher and student here. If you're a teacher, is there a city or a community that you would give a gold star in terms of being resilient or developing a resilient community? Is there anything that comes to mind nationally or even internationally?
Well, certainly we can give examples of communities that are working on resilience right now. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Cedar Rapids,
now, when you talk
New
about,
York.
You mentioned a couple of those cities are West Coast cities. Are we thinking more in terms of earthquake hazards, weather hazards? What's the sort of context here?
Well, certainly seismic events tend to dominate on the West Coast. Sandy dominated the Northeast. Tornadoes through Huntsville, Alabama, they're looking at it. So I think any hazard prompts people to start thinking about what can we do to recover better and spend our resources on improving our lives and not rebuilding.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to have to end it, and I learned so much from this show. I want to thank you for joining us today, Dr. McAllister from NIST. I think this is just one example of how services that you might not be aware of within our federal system are thinking in the big picture about how we can create resilient communities that we all live in, so that we're not reactive to events like Sandy or the blizzard of 2016. We're here every week, 12 o'clock noon on Sundays. We can find us on Twitter, WX Geeks TWC, and we also have a Facebook page. We'll see you next Sunday on Weather Geeks.
Here's something new. Now you can get the Weather Channel forecasts on the new LL Bean app. Just tap, shop, and discover. The new app from LL Bean, featuring forecasts from the Weather Channel. Download today.
With a full tank of freedom, find your own highway. We'll take you wherever you go. Take you wherever you go.
If you have type 2 diabetes, you may know what it's like to deal with high and low blood sugar. Januvia sitagliptin is a once-daily pill that, along with diet and exercise, helps lower blood sugar. Januvia works when your blood sugar is high and works less when your blood sugar is low, because it works by enhancing your body's own ability to lower blood sugar. Plus, Januvia by itself is not likely to cause weight gain or low blood sugar, hypoglycemia. Januvia should not be used in patients with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Tell your doctor if you have a history of pancreatitis. Serious side effects can happen, including pancreatitis, which may be severe and lead to death. Stop taking Januvia and call your doctor right away if you have severe pain in your stomach area, which may be pancreatitis. Tell your doctor right away and stop taking Januvia if you have an allergic reaction that causes swelling of the face, lips, tongue, or throat, or affects your breathing or causes rash or hives. Kidney problems sometimes requiring dialysis have been reported. Some people may develop severe joint pain. Call your doctor if this happens. Using Januvia with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. To reduce the risk, your doctor may prescribe a lower dose of the sulfonylurea or insulin. Your doctor may do blood tests before and during treatment to check your kidneys. If you have kidney problems, a lower dose may be prescribed. Side effects may include upper respiratory tract infection, stuffy or runny nose, sore throat, and headache. For help lowering your blood sugar, talk to your doctor about Januvia.
Check this out, bro.
What's that, Brohim?
I switched to Geico and got more.
More savings on car insurance?
Yeah, Professor, and more. Like renter's insurance.
More ways to save. Nice, Brotato Chip.
That's not all protein shake. Geico has motorcycle and RV insurance, too.
Ooh, that's a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about more Teddy Roosevelt.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Looking for 24/7 digestive support? Try Align for a non-stop, sweet treat goodness. Hold on to your tiara kind of day. Live 24/7 with 24/7 digestive support. Try Align, the undisputed #1 GE recommended probiotic.
I think what makes the Weather Channel's coverage unique is that we are meteorologists. We know what's going on with the weather.
Those moments where we're dealing with life-threatening situations, we have a charge. We have a responsibility.
You have purpose. You have to get these people out of harm's way.
I'm telling people on TV the exact same thing that I would tell my family members.
And that's really what we're trying to do here, is to make sure people stay as safe as they can and save lives.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, partly cloudy and windy. High 62. Winds west-northwest at 25 to 35 miles per hour. Tonight, mainly clear skies. Low 43. Winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Monday, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 67. Winds west at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Down to Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
It's amazing out there means to me everything is amazing. It could be the smallest ice crystal, the biggest storm cloud. It's just taking a second to appreciate all of it and the awe and awesomeness of it.
We have uncovered a remarkable planet. A world of extreme weather, alien landscapes, and bizarre phenomena. It's the most complex system we know of in the universe. That planet is Earth. And we're only beginning to unlock its secrets. It seems like a most familiar sight, but in fact, it's one of the strangest phenomena in the universe, and humans couldn't live without it.
The water that is in our bodies right now has been around for millions of years, and all of us probably have water that passed through Albert Einstein, George Washington.
It's called rain. Created by powerful but little-known forces, it teems with mystery, and even sometimes with life. Rain, decoded on Secrets of the Earth. Even from space, it's clear that Earth is a special planet. It's unique in this solar system because it has massive oceans. And it rains water from the sky.
When you look down at the Earth from space, the two things that jump out at you are the white, the clouds, and the blue, the oceans.
Canada's Vancouver Island, the wettest place in North America. Here, it can average an astonishing 256 inches of rain a year.
The oceans, the clouds, and even the water on the moss around me here, it's all part of the same water cycle, the cycle that sustains life on the planet. This cycle includes everything, from my breath adding moisture to the air, to the water hanging on this moss, to a river like this, flowing towards the ocean. Or this.
Even the world's driest deserts, like Death Valley, are shaped by rain.
Here in Death Valley, even though it's an extremely dry place, everywhere we look, we see evidence of the work of water. That it sculpts the landscape, it creates these fantastic shapes that we see here, and this arroyo that's located behind me, that's deeply carved, deeply incised into this hillside, is caused by torrential rains that flood down the slope, carve into the landscape, and move those sediments downstream.
Rain may seem simple, but few people on the planet understand how it actually works. How it relies on visitors from outer space and strange creatures from Earth to make it fall from the sky. The secret life of rain begins with the basic fact that across most of the Earth, rain starts out not as a liquid, but as a solid.
Here in the rainforest on Vancouver Island, it's raining on me right now. But these rain droplets didn't actually start as rain. They started in the clouds as snow, which is a combination of ice, air, and little droplets of water. Most rain on the planet actually starts as snow.
High in Earth's atmosphere, it's far below 32 degrees. And as every child on Earth is taught, water freezes at 32 degrees. Except that it doesn't.
It wants to freeze because it's below the freezing point, but it can't. It needs an impurity around which ice crystals can form, and then a solid can take place.
And this planet's atmosphere is full of tiny impurities that play this vital role.
The particulates that we find in the atmosphere come from many different places. From sea spray, from the ocean, from forest fires and the smoke that they produce. And even here in Death Valley, in a sandstorm, it's going to pick this sand up, toss it into the air, and carry it into the clouds.
And some rain-making particles actually zoom in from outer space. Every day, 6,000